it's still a game where being the pretty clear favourites here, I think Sharks should be feeling comfortable enough. One positive being, though, of course, with it actually being Sharks' map pick, is that Brugge do at least get to start off on that CT side. So we'll see how that plays out. They're going to go actually heavy on Kevlar, which is surprising. No kit in play, so if it comes down to a retake here in the pistol round, there could be a bit of trouble. And as you can see, in terms of nades, Pank has got the smoke and a couple of flashes there, so they'll be splitting out on the default initially. They'll be looking to then hit into one of those bomb sites a little bit later. I think expecting some aggression from Brugge right now. Maybe having a bit of a read into how they like to play this CT pistol. There is plenty of VODs, I suppose, for them to take a look at, as we said, with this being Brugge's most played map as well.
Yeah, for sure. And the utility will be swapped over as well. We see it continuing to be switched between players. Looks like they are going to go in for a B play. They have a couple of smokes for the mid area as well. That's going to be a little bit of a whiff first, but they'll get it down eventually. A bit of a fake, that one, as they eventually try and make their way toward B. Simics will jump over toward the balcony, but he's going to be in for a bit of a surprise. He's now in a bit of trouble. Can he get down and out of the way? I'm not sure he can. Flash is going to absolutely destroy him, and he does get taken down in the end by Reelsin with the help from Luca. Natty's on pillar, but he can't get anything. Zebi deals with him, and Stivosa now has to be the man to try and respond. He gets one headshot toward Luca, but he needs a couple more, and JNT is going to rip his head off. So all down to Richie unnoticed, and Zebi's going aggressive on it. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, though. Of course, they still have 3 men over, and the bomb is planted, so it's going to be okay. I don't think the kit is necessarily recoverable either. And with Reelsin taking notice, it's not going to matter. It's a lovely 3K from Reelsin to get themselves started on the T side. And that's where they did some of their best work on the T side. Very explosive, of course, on this map. They are higher ranked for a reason. And they'll get themselves started in the best way possible.
Yeah, that's actually the first pistol round they've picked up in the series so far.
Nice.
Worth noting. Lost out the first one, then won out a force buy, and then lost that second pistol round as well, as we can remember. Allowed for Brugge, I believe, to bring the scoreline 8-9 on that previous map before the gun round went Sharks' way. I don't know. I can remember that somehow. Can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday. It is a force buy anyway, back in from Brugge. And normally you'll see the scouts alongside the Thieves, but they've actually gone pretty heavy on the MP9s alongside those scouts, which is going to be an interesting combo. If those scouts especially can tag up 2 or 3 players even early on in the round and allow them then to play things a little bit more calmly, sit back, maybe take even a bit of a gamble stack towards a bomb site, things then could get pretty dangerous for Sharks. They themselves have gone very heavy on the rifles, an AK, a few Galils, and just the one SMG in play. They know that they very likely are up against this force buy from Brugge, and well, they know not to underestimate them after how that previous map went. Okay, there's a few toes. We'll eventually get the warning, but well, it doesn't work out. Richie just charges in on the MP9. JNT, that's a bit of an awkward one, the way that plays out. Haven't even seen the feat for a few seconds for himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the default position I play, and it's so powerful because of that reason. Like, you get the information on a player pushing into a ramp before they can see you. But, you know, at the same time, if it's actually hard cleared, it's a duel that is very winnable. And Richie will get himself that first kill. I'm going to be going back in toward A here, but it's against a scout and these 2 MP9s on the site to defend. It's going to be a rough one. An early tag comes in from Savos. Thankfully, that's only the Mac 10. And notice should be pre-fired. He is, but Richie is still on the site. So it's going to do more damage as well from the ticket box. So much damage, in fact. Puts Pank down to 45, Reelsin 12 as well. It's a good trade from Richie to get one more. But they should be able to get this bomb planted and have some form of a hold. He needs to be wary. They're going to go for it, though, and Luca just about covers it, but it's not going to matter. They've denied that bomb plant now. It's all down to Pank. He'll be stopped by a scout as well, and that's what that combination can do. 1 each.
Alrighty then. Pretty much just deja vu of how things went down on the second round, I suppose, of that first map. We didn't see it exactly, though. We had a small issue then, I believe. There was some tech probs. This time we do get to see how it actually plays out. And yeah, well, it wasn't too fun to watch for the boys. Flipping it on its head a little bit and getting some revenge. Yeah, Sharks, I mean, the force that they're able to pull back in return is not very good at all here. Multiple rifles even being retrieved on the Brugge side, going even towards an AK there on Simic, so they're pretty secure in their own investment here. As long as they don't lose too many players, then they'll have a chance to really start building up their money, and not really with too many weak weapons in play either, so that will be a positive. Nice shot by Stevos, okay. Flicks on the JNT, there's still a Tech 9 up close that could be a nuisance, but for now it doesn't really seem like it's going to be too big of a problem. They spot that there was a few players moving up through the apps as well. With Simics, he decides that he wants to reface it, and it works out somehow. He's going to go in for a little bit more, even. It's a bit risky. I mean, if there was those Deagles holding the angle, then there definitely could be some trouble, but I don't think Simics is really going to let much slip away. Those Tech 9s at range are a little bit inconsistent. They're not always going to land exactly where you aim.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough one as well because, you know, at the same time, Richie is going to be able to he's managed to fall back with the ONS, but it's fine. I mean, Simics has managed to take Rails in through the smoke as well, so it is pretty impossible to do anything with this. Pank is just 15 HP with the bomb. And then try and rotate round, and he'll even get headshot by Richie as well. So that's going to be a very clean second for Club Brugge. Of course, Sharks will obviously be forced into that reforce, right? In that force by battle. But in that sort of situation, I think the CT sub was always going to come out on top. They didn't really have any rifles that they could reforce back in with. So, yeah, it's a rough one. It will put a little bit of a lead for Club Brugge to work with now. And it should make it 3-1 as well with Young Sharks on a full eco.
I think even 1 or 2 kills would be a bit too much to ask here for Sharks. Okay, well, there's already 1, so maybe it's not.
There's your jinx, see?
Yeah, they can't be doing this. I don't know. Yeah, to be fair, the swing top mid with the Glocks is always a good strat. It can be fun on the pistol round itself as well. Just overwhelm that player in the window. Doesn't seem like the Glocks are going to overwhelm anyone other than that player, though, unfortunately, as they just start to get torn apart. They didn't realize Luca was in the close smoke, actually, so yeah, the man pushing up mid ends up bypassing him completely. Fortunately, though, he's not able to put that weapon to any sort of use after picking it up, so they will be able to go ahead and deal with the threat. Losing 2 players again, though, for what Sharks had to work with there, only the Glocks in play. They can be pretty happy. Now they come onto the rifles. If they manage to win out this round, there's at least some damage that they've done in the previous round that could potentially leave 2 of the players, as we can see, on towards weaker weapons. So it could come back to bite Brugge, the fact that they let those 2 players slip. We'll see. What is the play here from Sharks? It seems like they're going to focus out towards mid. A bit of a default just in general coming in. Like they'll send the player through underpass here, so nothing too mad.
Yeah, it's important for them to get this first buy round sorted, and already they'll spot notice over the top of that connector smoke. I mean, actually, it wasn't over the top of that connector smoke. That was just a spray through the top mid smoke as well. So, perfect guess. And it gets them an opening. That's one way to do it, I guess. Many smokes coming in. Window, bottom of connector, top con as well. Not really much you can do if you're Club Brugge right now to gather some information. Sharks are just going to be grouping up toward the A ramp. Stilos will be rotating in, and Matty's in jungle as well to help out on possibly on some timing peaks. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Brugge could still do something with this, but Luca is still lurking around. Takes down Simics as well. Now it's all down to the AWP. Obviously, those can he do any more in this situation? A good smoke will come in to at least make sure that Steve can fall back. But at the moment, Lucosi's going to try and take a gamble, right? He's low HP anyway. He's going to go through the B site to see if it's clear, and they're going to call the bomb back anyway. He's gone all the way through. He's cleared it out. He's taken the gamble, and it's paid off. They might have a clear site here and possibly even win this round with all 5 players alive, because I'm sure Club Brugge will probably save on this one. If they get here quick enough.
They will get there quick enough, I believe. Yeah, with the deep smoke in kitchen. If not for that smoke, then Matty maybe could have got something done from kitchen, catching a player or 2 crossing. But yeah, they played it out well, making sure they had that smoke down, and just in general managed to make that read to bring it towards B pretty well, because E-Club obviously had made the gamble to stack the 3 towards A. I thought that was going to be the correct call early on. It was looking like A was the favoured site. So I thought that would work out for them, but obviously it flips on its head, and instead now it's just the 3 players trying to survive with those weapons, which will allow for another full bite to come in, so I think they'll be more than happy to do so. Sharks, though, did they want to hunt at all? I mean, Zevy's within reach if he wanted to go forward and see if there's a player or 2 to take down, but I do believe they also want to ensure that they live over with all 5 players here. Also happy to take a clean round and survive with everyone. Indeed, that's how it plays out in the end, so another gun round going to be coming through. Brugge not out of this one yet, but if they lose this round in itself, then that's when things might get a little bit shaky with the economy then really struggling across the board. It would be a chance for Sharks to get the lead going, so that's not something that they want to let happen.
And the T-side has been where they've done some of their best work, at least in my opinion, for Sharks as well. Just obviously the explosive style that they have. They can always, crack open a site at a moment's notice. Richie is the one player that's got, actually talking about cracking open a site. We're going to go fully aggressive here up connector. Doesn't know if he's realised it. I think he does now. Luke will take some shots, just about catches him as that smoke blooms behind him. And he can fall back behind it as well. Devote does well to take reels in the meantime, but Richie's going to be forced out from the underback position, and he'll get taken down. Again, though, there was still one more frag on the third map for Matty to get one back, and he dinks up Zevi, but he still hits the headshot. Important frag from Zevi on the AK. The AWP, we usually see him on, and Luca even takes Devos as well towards short. That's going to be the B site open for business. They know where Simics probably is. He is a B player usually, but Luca can clear it out and find that it's open. And yeah, that was just a very nice... Talk about aggression, wasn't I? And then they just do it right in front of our very eyes. And the fact that, as you mentioned before, Dean, with Richie on 5.4, they're going to have something, especially if Simic saved this AWP and the full utility. But it's going to be a bit of a stretch where they want to go for a full investment.
Not going to be there, unfortunately. We keep seeing these later B hits where they have the bomb site open, but it still takes yonks to get that bomb over. They will finally get it planted now. But yeah, Simics, as you said, saving that. I don't think it's going to be a buy behind it, to be honest. Even though Richie has enough, I think it could be worthwhile just maybe having Richie even drop Deagles or CZs across the board, give them some pistols behind that up to try and get some damage done, and then just come on to a stronger buy-in towards that next gun round. Obviously, they'll be likely conceding the lead to Sharks, but with it still being relatively early on, I think this is when you can actually afford to try and take that round or two to stabilize your economy and get things going, rather than just trying to scrap it back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be curious to see how it sort of progresses as well, because I think if they do gamble for a full buy, I wouldn't mind to see it, because I mean, with the obviously Richie can drop 2 Silence M4s right now if he really wants to, but at the same time, he obviously wouldn't have much of a buy for himself. So they can get 3 guns with Stavos on his AWP. Simics can go for a FAMAS if he wants with his full utility. But it looks like we're just going to commit to a half buy, buying down to like 2k on all 5 players, and I like that call a lot, to be fair. Richie does get his M4, but Stavos gets his AWP, and we get pistols to surround it. Simics will be the utility man, but Zevi's already got a nice pick. Notice he's out of the round before it's even begun for him. So that's another nice pick from Zevi. He's been a little bit more consistent today than he was yesterday, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know if his peak has been quite as high, though, in comparison to what we got on Inferno from him. But in fairness, I think LDLC, with the style that they were playing, it was giving them the chance to hit some flashier plays. Things were a bit crazier at points. Luke is going to get caught by Richie, actually, in towards Connector. And, well, this M4 he bought up is actually working out incredibly well. He's already got himself 2. Realzim was a bit too late on his attempt to swing in for the trade. Player already pushed up towards ramp there. I was going to say could be an issue if he swings in on stairs. It's actually a flash over to peek the up and spawn that goes pretty well. They haven't taken the kill on him, although now they have, never mind. But it ends up in a 2-on-2 either way. Simics with a Deeg, he has the Kevlar, Matty's the man with the rifle. He doesn't have any armor behind us, sadly. I think Simics might even have a chance to grab that weapon back in towards the spawn, and with only just about 50 seconds remaining, they can play on this time. They're waiting for the bomb to attempt to be planted, hoping they can catch it with only 1 player, then actually holding, of course, to protect it, rather. But a missed up shot there gives a chance, I was going to say, maybe for something to be done. The molly in to force them out of position, but as they get the kill onto Matty and as they're crossing back over, rather, it should give them plenty of room, rather, to go ahead and just position themselves in this after plant now. There's not a lot Simics can do unless he hits some ridiculous shots, and even then it was going to be pretty difficult to avoid the trade just coming in inevitably in the end. But Zevi, he just straight up lands the shot. That's going to be a 4-3 scoreline now that's in.
Scary though, wasn't it?
Good work in the initial moments for the damage being done, at least. I mean, Richie, he just spent his extra money to get that M4. He gets 2 good kills out of it, and gave them what looked like it was going to be a real shot at the round.
Yeah, especially with Simics having that utility as well towards CT, that could have easily worked out and forced him off a plant into Matty's crosshair at the end in that 2 versus 2. But yeah, in the end, Sharks a little bit lucky to get away with that round after just walking 1 by 1 into that M4, as you say. I mean, we even saw in that VT we had before our main coverage got underway, right? That the opinion of, I think it was Taco, said that, you know, it's very cheap now that you can buy the Silence M4 on like a half buy, right, and still get away with multi-frags, which is what makes the Silence M4 so powerful right now for 2900, with it being the better M4. Something that I'm sure Valve will be looking at and have seen at the major especially. It's incredibly powerful. Will most likely either adjust the price or maybe put the bullets back down to 20 again, something like that, to make it a bit more accurate. But yeah, it's an important round for Sharks, as you say, to recover that situation. Richie's got a nice angle. We'll spot the arm first, but it's baited out by JNT nicely. Still goes in for the duel. Zebi's falling away as he goes for it, and JNT will punish him. Richie, that's very aggressive. Once you get the information, fall back, surely. There's a chance to notice is caught off as well. Reels in, walking through the con smoke, will get taken down. A jumping Luca spams the face of Sivos down. 4 versus 2. Simic needs to answer back. Matty is on a long rotation as well. I think he's even falling back toward B to save. So it's going to be another open A site for Sharks.
And a very slow retreat from Brugge, as you can see. I'm really unsure if there's anyone already maybe in a position to cut off those rotations back. It does seem like they should be able to get out of there in the end, though. I mean, Sharks, they've got a bit of money. I think it could definitely be worthwhile just sending out the hunt right now. If they manage to deny both of these weapons from being saved over, then it's an eco that Brugge are going on to end this next round completely. Maybe only a few pistols or so to be bought up, and a chance for Sharks to really start running away with the scoreline now. I mean, they're definitely looking at, well, most likely anyway, looking at a 6th round off the back of this one.
Very likely, as you say. As long as they don't walk into an M4 one by one again, make it a little bit less scary for them. At least they have utility saved again. I mean, Club Brugge have been pretty decent at that. When they have gone for a save, they've saved a lot of util as well. I'll be curious to see how it goes. What they decide to do on this one. I mean, Simic can drop an M4 as well, so I doubt they're going to try and go for a buy with 3 rifles. They've been pretty safe so far. Yeah, they're going to continue with buying down to around 1650. 2k on Steve OC, of course, as he wants that AWP coming up to fire off against Zevi. Zevi's won the duel so far overall. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a general team effort, though. There's no one really standing out too massively in terms of having a crazy number of frags, I was going to say, on the side of Sharks. Obviously, Luca then picks up a couple just to put a little bit of a gap between himself and the other players. Reelson's not too far off him either there on 7, but it seems like they've handled this one pretty well. There was a bit to deal with. It wasn't completely clean, obviously, with the loss bonus build-in for Brugge. They had invested what they could. Unfortunately,
Luca is the highest rated player.
Richie.
So yeah. You're bang on.
Reelson's been really impressive also, especially on Mirage. From what I recall, I think he picked up that nasty Deagle 4K on the B-hold, if I remember correctly.
Yep. I think you're right.
Seems to be his map.
Yeah, in the past 3 months, right? At least if you look through the statistics for these guys, like Luca has got a higher rating than Zevi. And, you know, when the AWP saves so much as well, we know that Luca has, of course, gone for secondary AWPs on quite a few occasions. But when the AWP saves, obviously would adjust the rating for Zevi quite a lot. But Luca, as a rifler, is still higher rated. Yeah, that is, I love that. I really do love that, to see a rifler doing so well. Richie hits a lovely shot towards Zevi, to be fair to him. But Pank will easily trade that very quickly. Someone says he's going to try and go for this one. Hits the first spray. But only a bit of damage to the T economy is what he can manage. And that doesn't really matter anymore because Zevi's up to 12 before he rebuys. Luca is still on 10. And JNT is on 8.9 as well. So it's starting to get out of hand for Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get out of hand for Brugge, if anything. Sharks are happy enough to, to let things keep racking up in their own favour. Brugge, though, on the other hand, need to turn it around here and now if they don't want things to really just get out of reach. Obviously up by a map already. If you weren't with us, it was an overtime game. It was a close one up until the overtime when things started to separate a little bit and Sharks took a cleanly 19-15. Well, Brugge, unfortunately, aren't really getting off to as quick of a start here on Mirage as you would have hoped after seeing kind of the efforts they put in for that recovery back on Vertigo.
Yeah.
It's been a rough one with their own economy, just kind of bouncing back and forth here between the gun rounds and the half buys as we've seen. A little bit of a slower one, though, at the moment coming in. Already, though, there is a bit of control, as you can see, being found on mid for Sharks. They have a player in on Delpan, I believe. This nade, if he had dropped it, would have done some pretty decent damage. He is eventually going to throw it through. Luca, indeed, being tagged up pretty heavily now. Not sure if he's going to want to continue fighting around here, but we'll see. Because that player in the connector smoke, rather, has not decided to back off at all.
Yeah, notice this is a bit of a rough series so far. Didn't have a great vertigo. And he's struggling a little bit on Mirage as well, but you know that he's got the talent to get into the action when needed. Of course, these guys aren't called young sharks for no reason. Of course, Luca and Zevi are only 20, supported, of course, by the experience of Real Zin, I believe he's 27, and JNT's about, I think, 26 as well. So it's interesting to see how these guys have been progressing, and Realzin's going to advance further again. This is where Notice can show up, and he does. It's a really important frag, and now Simics can do some work. Spots the first player jumping out, but I think they know where he is. No, they don't. The Silencer has protected his position, and my spot gets 2 kills, Dean. You love to see it. Both gets a quick trade toward JNT as well. Now it's all down to Zevi. He gets the first, to be fair, and he's got a chance to do more. Let's just jump out toward him. 11 seconds to go. Thankfully, Richie is still there on the edge of window, and a very tight angle to stop Zevi from completing a very nice-looking clutch. In the end, Club Brugge just about win that round, but with just 1 player alive.
Not ideal. I mean, at least they do have the up over, so that's not going to be a massive reinvestment that they have to put in and wouldn't have been able to put in, but yeah, even then, they're still left with a weaker weapon in the FAMAS. They could do with a few more nades, 2 players lacking helmets, which thankfully won't affect them with it just being the AKs and co in play. But still, it does show that they have to make those sacrifices and they don't have all of the money that they'd want coming into what is obviously a very important round. They need to chain these together now. Reelzin is advancing a little bit quicker than we've seen for that mid-control over these past couple of rounds. Molly in as well. Maddie up close on short, though, who's likely to find the initial fight here, backing away just in time to avoid being spotted, and he actually lands the dink on Luca, but the flash is just too perfect. Not able to land the follow-up shot, and, well, with that now, it's going to be, again, the early advantage for Sharks. We need to be careful with that up in towards window. They're actually going to go for the Bogdan law right there, trading it out. Luca, the secondary upper, he's happy to take it. Oh, damn, I thought he had that one, at least one there for sure, but apparently not.
What a ridiculous situation. So many players tagged down so low. Luca, that incredible opening pick with that flash helping him out. And now Stivos is stuck in toward that position with the Molotov as well. Has a smoke to get out of it, thankfully for him. JNT will hop over that position. There's still a player in Palace to worry about, though. That is Richie. And he could be the snake in the grass right now. Simic's coming towards CT to try and help out. He can be checked for from ramp by Pank. Now he's been spotted, I believe. Does JNT know? Has the information been relayed? I don't think they know about Richie either, and that is the position that's going to work out. Easy peek from Simics as well as Richie gets that frag. As the distraction comes in, it recovers a 4 versus 3, but look where Luca is. Once again, he's taken the control of the B site, and he has the AWP in position. Only 20 seconds to go. It's going to be a very tight rotation to get this bomb over, but do they expect Luca to be holding such an angle like this? 18 HP. He'll get the first frag towards Stivos, and that's a big one to get back into this round. A tag toward Richie as well. A leg shot. 15 HP remaining, and he even finishes it off. The aggression from Luca is insane. Have they got the bomb down? They do. And Luca finishes it with a 4K, despite being on 18 HP. The AWP switch comes in, and that's what it can do.
Okay. Yeah, look, he was tagged up right from the beginning, and he still just makes that look absolutely easy. Up to 12 kills. I was going to say, do you even give it back to Zevi after having a round like that, but apparently he does. Luca, I mean, this is a man that we've got to keep our eyes on. I think we'll probably be seeing him within a stronger
20,
Brazilian lineup in the future as well. Yeah, in general, I don't think this team is really all that old. I'm pretty sure most of them are fairly young. So it's just names in general we'll have to keep our eyes on for the future. Richie able to get one at least as that push comes in. Notice going to be snatching up a headshot as well there as they look to cross over. That smoking connector is only at the bottom of the steps, so plenty of room for the pistols to play around it. But are they aware of the second player? Yeah, they should be actually, because it's not noticed they took out. He's still tucked in.
That's a little bit wild from Sharks there, just running out A against the Deagles. Thankfully they're going to slow it down now, and Zevi will pick up Notice toward that jungle position. Pank will take Matty down as well in connector, and now it's just Simics remaining with no chance in this clutch. And yeah, that's as I said, like I think it's Luca and Zevi who are both 20. I think Realzin, and JNT are slightly older, 26, 27, bringing experience to this roster. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pank is sort of in between at around 23. I do somehow I remember that, but as you say earlier,
23, yeah, correct, yeah.
I was right. Incredible.
Still somehow pretty young in terms of being a CS player.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And from what I've seen from Zevi and Luca, to be fair, I really think that we're seeing players, as you say, that could easily make their way to teams like Furia maybe one day. stuff like that in the future. It's promising, absolutely promising for these guys. And they're performing well once again, trying to keep themselves going, of course, in the lower bracket. This is the lower bracket in the EPL conference. 3 spots on the line for the main Pro League season. You think that Sharks, if they continue playing like this, even though they are in the lower bracket, they'll be feeling pretty confident. Of course, much harder teams to face upcoming. But still, double the score of Club Brugge right now. Double up set up for them to try and make something happen.
Yeah, it's always that setup you go towards when you need something a little bit extra. When things aren't going your way. The only problem is it's incredibly expensive, so it can lead to the even further economy troubles if it doesn't work out. Nade over. Oh, actually, yeah, it did land, sorry. Slightly colorblind, apparently. Could barely see that red initially beside the orange of his name. But yeah, they're starting to actually move over towards B with this one. Luca's just charging into the A bomb site, hoping that he can serve as a distraction. And, well, he does that for a few seconds, but I don't think he gets out of that push what he wanted. Now his teammates, rather, are just going to need to find these entries in on B, and they can't. Simics with 2 from the back of the bomb site. Matty hadn't even bothered to show himself that entire time, only now swinging and revealing that he'd been tucked away, and with that is good to clean up the final 2 as well. The op being recovered to be given back over to Simics, and we said that double op setup is brought out, and apparently it's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, perfect. Simics is, I wouldn't say necessarily known to be an AWPer, but, you know, it's an easy gun in general, point and click if you get yourself in the right angle, and he did manage to do that, so 2 kills for him. Smart ones as well in the defense. It's a position that he could have easily been overwhelmed as well, so really good job to get the 2 required in that situation. And a timeout will come in now for Sharks, their first of this second map of Mirage. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can do something new perhaps now. We've seen fast pace toward A, fast connector splits coming in. I'd like to see a B split. Haven't seen that yet. They get themselves up towards short, get those window and con smokes in. And possibly split from the B apartments. But going in toward A pretty quickly once again to start off this one. Martov will counter what Realton's plan is. Actually, he's going to right-click that smoke and go straight through it. That's a bit wild. I mentioned how I'd like to see something toward B, and perhaps how they've overused A a bit. It's going to be a huge wipeout for Club Brugge. Easy frags for them in the end. Just walking through those smokes are Sharks. Bit of inexperience there, perhaps. Leaves Zevi in a 1 versus 3. Bomb dropped in that Molotov as well.
Yeah, Zevi. He's going to be given a chance here, I think, actually. Simics looks like he's tempted to peek, so hopefully that's not going to be something that he actually goes for. They have the bomb down. They have Zevi in a position where he has to step out into the open if he wants to recover it, obviously. And yeah, they know that. No mistake's going to be made. Tucked in. Zevi trying to bait out what he can. I think that's confirmed to them now that his position is in towards the ramp. Indeed, he had been spotted, and there you go. The final kill snatched up. So up to 7. Brugge are doing a really good job, I've got to say, at recovering this half, at least into a decent position. But the problem is you've already got Sharks on 8 rounds on the T side no matter what. This is a half they're going to be really happy with. Will they be able to extend that advantage is the question. Maybe not, because the buy, at least here in the last round, is incredibly rough. So that's a positive for Brugge. This should be theirs. This should be 7 if they can then get that second pistol round, build off the back of it. They could even get a lead going pretty early going into that second half.
Actually similar to at the end of that Vertigo, right? Where they had no money left at the end of the half. And that's what's confusing a little bit to me, to be fair, to like why they went through that smoke toward A. And they had that basically their last buy, but I could be about to be proved wrong. It might still be a 9-6 half. I think it's a really nice entry with the Mac 10. But Simics and Stivos doing great work on the AWP. Luca finally takes him down, and that's a good frag from Pank on the Galil. Now it's all down to Luca. He gets to first. He's been insane on this AWP so far in this game. He's got the information on the last as well, but now he's tagged down to 19 HP. Can he get away with this clutch? 2 on the round so far. Richie's crept out the window. I'm not sure he's going to be totally aware of this. He could be getting behind this smoke. Luca's looking for it, though. Will he get a quick scope to come in? Oh, he tries it, but it's not to be. A great attempt once again, but Richie takes him down, and that will confirm an even half. We'll be back after the break to conclude Mirage. Hello, guys. Welcome back. I think we are live for the second half of Mirage between Sharks and Club Brugge. It's an even half to start us off, and we'll have to see how this one pans out. We've got a chance now to see if Sharks can do as well as on their T side as they on their CT side, sorry, as they did on their T side. It's been a decent game so far for Luca. He's been one of the kings so far for Sharks with that insane 4K on the AWP on low HP, and Zevi's been pretty good as well. It's now time to see what Club Brugge have to show on their T side. Smoke, double flash for Stivos. That is all in terms of utility. And we're going to go in toward middle here, Dean.
Yeah, Zevi's going to have a chance to maybe tap a couple of heads. It can be tough with multiple Glocks swinging in, as we've seen on the previous half, though. As Zevi needs to be cautious, he just fires off a few shots, and well, it seems to have actually warned them away. The problem now for the T's is, with Reels and aggressive and apps, you see there he finds that info pretty early on that there was a player moving back in this direction, and it's allowed for them to take a little bit of a stack towards B, but will this work out? Because they're starting to move through underpass. Reels in on a tight angle, though, is able to make that work. That's very difficult to do. Normally you'll see the op posted up there.
That's
gotta
so
give some
unusual.
props to Reels in, yeah. Actually got that player into window, I was going to say, without being spotted. Insta headshot then from Stivos as well. Takes out Zevi. Now they're going to start swarming A as quick as they can. Pank tucked in towards Sandwich. Hungry for the kills. Good for the one, but it serves as a distraction for JNT. Also in towards the spawn, I was going to say, to get a good kill for himself, but he's not able to hang on to life. Ideally would have wanted to have stayed alive. They give them a 2-on-2 for the retake. Instead, Reelson is left alone. His initial kill being a very crisp headshot, but he's going to need another couple now if he wants to make this work, and he doesn't currently have a kit in his possession, which, as you can see, is going to be a bit of a problem with the crossfire. They've got to just run this time down. He's actually gotten notice. Richie's still on full health, though, tucked in behind the ticket booth, with a USP of his own, dinked down. Not able to get the finish, though, initially, and he needed it then and there if it was doable. If he had have gotten it on the crossover, I think he would have had plenty of time for that defuse even to come in.
Yeah, it was actually quite a very fast retake, a lot faster than I think even Club Brugge were expecting. That's unfortunate. I mean, Richie just sort of took matters into his own hands there, especially with the first frag, just swinging wide towards CT, taking that one kill, and then falling back to play the 2v1. And it was close, but unfortunately no cigar for Sharks on that occasion. A very, very interesting pistol round. And of course, Sharks will be forcing 2 deagles, 3 deagles in total, actually, an MP9 and a scout. We saw Club Brugge win this one out. Can Sharks do exactly the same? I think Matty... Oh no, that flash is excellent, though. That's exactly the same duel we saw on the other half. But this time, it's a flash that really helps out the pick for the CT side. Richie at least takes Pank, though, so at least that's something in response. JNT is sort of waiting around. As soon as he hits his Molotov, he might be trying to get out of there. And will do. He's burning, though, and he needs to get out as quickly as possible. I think there's one tag that's been taken, and Mix knows that he's there. It's the information. Notice even spams down Zebi through ticket as well, and that should probably seal a lead for Club Brugge on Mirage.
Yeah, it is going to. As I had said, going into that half-time, they had done a great job at recovering. It was worrying no matter what, because obviously 8 rounds on the T side of Sharks is really good. But if you can just ensure a strong start without dropping much, then a lead will come. And indeed, it's going to go the way of Bruges. Should even be extended further in their favour before we really see trouble coming their way with the guns being in the hands of Sharks. If they can save these 2 deagles, though, it'll give them at least something to work with. As I say, that obviously Stivos gets himself a very quick headshot onto Reelson, and now with Luca trapped in, they might push forward, but I don't know if it's really worth risking their own weapons, to be honest, in doing so, considering they know now that he's only got a deagle in play. But it looks like Notice is happy to do so, and he loses his AK. Thankfully, there was no time for Luca to pick it up. Rather, that was cutting it close. But still, that was an unnecessary AK being lost, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you run in with a MAC-10 there, that's fine. But losing the AK is, as you say, it's a bit of an expensive loss. Thankfully, Luca doesn't get it, as there's not many ticks left in the round, as you say. But yeah, I mean, they're going to take the lead now, and they're going to probably hit double digits as well, despite a ridiculous round from Luca. In case of a ridiculous round from Luca, I guess I could say. But still, right now, I think I'm 50-50 right now on who wins this map. We could easily be going to a decider here. No doubt about it. I think it's going for the duel. Actually takes a dink, and Zevi gets some damage as well. But then they clear it up nicely. Luca gets his 1 kill. You'd hoped he'd get on the deagle. But now it's just Reels in remaining. Simics is really low. There's a chance perhaps he could tap him down. He has a Galil to find. He'll probably work his way ahead of this connector smoke as well. Could find one here. Oh, but no, Matty just checks for it. So all good for Club Brugge, and that is 10. That is those double digits, and now it's time for Sharks to show up on their CT side. They're going to need a good start, otherwise Club Brugge could start to pull away.
Yeah, they do at least get the op straight out on Zevi, which is going to be a positive. Not going to be coming straight towards a double op setup anyway. They're happy to have Luca on the rifle, which he's been doing a pretty good job with. Again, it's an overall pretty solid team effort. You've got a bit of a standout with Luca up on 16, but he's one of the players you want up there, as long as everyone else then is doing a good job. And as you can see, all hovering about 10 and 11. That is what you want. But now on the CT side, obviously, they need to wake up on this gun round. This is their first real opportunity to get things going. I'm liking what we're seeing with the kind of ramp control at least being taken. It doesn't seem like they're going to push any further in with it, which is a little bit interesting. A 4-man A stack around this A bomb site. I'm wondering if they've got a bit of a read maybe about how Brugge like to play out the initial gun round. Is there a bit of a tendency perhaps? And well, Luca, that was nothing about a read right there at all. He just gets pretty fortunate, to be honest, with the timing to turn around and have a little bit of a gander as to what's going on behind him. Catching himself an opening. Stevos, or rather, Pank is going to get a kill onto Stevos in the meantime as well. And it's just a very disgruntled push at the moment, to be honest, giving away some opportunities for those one-on-ones. I mean, you have the player peeking towards window. He pushed through the window smoke before his teammates were actually ready to push forward. And then a few seconds later, the peek in from Palace as well, just giving the chance over once again. So it's not looking good for Brugge in this initial gun round.
No, and they don't have a smoke left either. That's the big problem here. They've got 2 Molotovs, 2 flashes, and a grenade, but no smoke picked up at all. So this is all in Sharks' favour here. They've got good counter utility too. So you would surely expect Sharks to clear this up. I mean, I would half expect a 3-man save here with 28 seconds to go. And it looks like they might be considering it as well. The fact that they don't have a smoke. If they had 1 smoke here, I would say try and do damage to that CT economy, right? But in a situation like this, with absolutely nothing, apart from a couple of flashes, I completely understand this 3-man T save. Of course, saving on T side is, for the lack of a better term, a bit of a beta male move, but it has to happen at some time, at some occasions. And this is one of those. They have some, as you say, they'll be able to afford a smoke. Matty can drop an AK as well. They can afford the smokes for the next round. So it makes total sense, but it does afford a full 5-man alive situation for Sharks to build up that CT economy.
Yeah, they'll need to win this one, though, if they want a chance to really get the economy going, because if they were to just lose this one anyway, then they'd be back at stage 1, I suppose. They'd have at least a little bit of loss bonus on top of it to, I believe, give them enough for a bye. But it wouldn't be quite perfect. And at this stage, you don't really want to be allowing that to happen anyway. You want to start building up a few rounds to tie the scoreline to try and get a little bit of a lead even going. As things are taking a bit slower overall from Brugge in the initial moments. They're working towards mid for some control. 1 man over in Palace as well. So that could indicate that they want to favor towards A perhaps, but based off of the mid control, really anything still could be done. They'll look maybe for the controlling connector, perhaps to get a player kind of probing around short. Just see what sort of options are going to come their way. For the moment, though, Sharks are playing it pretty passively. They're happy enough to just heavily focus on the bomb sites themselves. And in the meantime, have been allowing for the T's to run down a lot of that utility. That is a failed smoke that they really shouldn't be missing.
Oh, no.
I don't think anything was done to that at all. It just didn't land.
That's not good. Like, it was Panka free open, and he took advantage. As soon as he saw that where that smoke had landed, he took advantage of it immediately. Might give Notice a chance to creep up through it, though, but Panka's fallen back into a nice spot. He has JNC to help toward default as well. They are really trying to split the A site and possibly take control of jungle and murder hole. That is good map control, so they need the control of the site first, and that is a good start. Notice takes 1, but Zevi is still around. He'll stop Simics as well. He's toward ramp. That makes it so much harder to get into the site. He even gets himself a second as well. Now all down to Richie. Try to pick ahead of it is Zevi. He might go down to the Molotov. He does. A bit of damage done as well. Means that Molotov is a bit too powerful. And Richie can pick up the bomb here and actually get it planted toward default. Do Luca and Realism go in together? They do. It's going to be much harder for Richie to work out. Needs 2 headshots on spray transfer probably. Gets the first. Decent try. But at the end of the day, Realism was always going to win that out. And they'll just about keep it. And probably save the AWP as well. They will. And it'll be an even game once again.
Yeah, it gets a little bit close for my liking, perhaps. But as you said, it was a tough position for Richie to avoid being traded. So Reelson does bring it over the line, even recovers the op, obviously, to be dropped back over to his teammate. But even then, their money obviously is pretty much all going to be spent into getting their weapons back in here. And with it being such a close round, Bruges, they seem to be considering the force buy. They're going to go in at least with what they can afford to spend. I mean, kind of. They only get 2,400 in this next round, to be honest. So, in the case of Simics and Matty, I think they've probably spent a little bit too much unless they are able to actually get some kills on those Mac 10s. And ideally find a bomb plant to really bolster up the buy in the next round. See if that's going to be possible or not. A good few nades, which will give them some opportunities for the executes. And you can see on that radar very early on, they're just going to be favoring over towards B. But again, Sharks seem to have a really good read.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one thing you need on a round like this is the utility to make these Mac 10s have a chance to jump out with the flashes and cause some havoc. Lucas still spamming through the wooden panel, and in comes the play. Wilson's got this off angle, but it can be hard to get some rushing Mac 10s. Does really well to get a second, to be fair, and that's probably a key to securing this round. As Evie gets one more half blind as well, should be able to get a second. He does. Now it's all down to Richie, and he'll get swung on by Luca. This is very solid now from Sharks. Good to see. They've stabilized very powerfully here. And once again, Club Brugge are probably going to be on pistol armor here. Simics can't buy, Matty can't buy. They can get 3 AKs, but there's no way you only get 3 AKs and barely any utils. So they're going to go pistols again. Some deagles as well to work with. A bit of util like last time, but Sharks are now starting to build up a run.
Impressive considering Sharks don't have legs. But we'll see what can be done for Bruges. They're finding a flow anyway. Yeah,
finding a nice creek to get themselves down right now.
Be dangerous. You're out in a creek, a random shark shows up. Scary. What you're expecting. We don't have anything really dangerous in terms of animals here in Ireland, so I'm pretty happy with that. I hate to be like Australian or something. The thought of spiders like that just scares the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
You're like an adder or something. Isn't that like a poisonous snake? Is that the only thing in the UK that's like a poisonous snake or something? I can't remember.
We have no snakes at all in Ireland, so...
Okay, unlucky. They didn't migrate over. Unfortunate.
I didn't know you guys had any snakes, to be honest.
Yeah,
around though from Sharks.
I think it's the adder. Yeah, I think that's the one snake. I've watched so many David Attenborough programs over the years. I think it's been like, forged into my brain that I knew that for some reason. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, 5 alive for Sharks. That's so good, right? Let's stop talking about snakes and talk about the game. Because right now, there's not really any snakes on the server at all for Sharks. They are most certainly all performing pretty well. And keeping this one as consistent as possible. Up to 12-10 now. Only 4 away from winning this one in 2-0 fashion. Matty is lagging a little bit behind on the Club Brugge roster. I'd like to see him show up and give his team a bit of help. Notice is also having a bit of a rough series overall right now.
Oh, Molly on their palace there does make things a bit awkward for Pank. He just drops the smoke for now, but obviously keeps him somewhat stuck in, having to worry about the spam from above Palace as well, being pushed down now. The man advantage already in favour of Bruges, but it's taken them a very long time to actually get on towards this bomb site, and by the time they get there, you can see the assistance had come in from the CT spawn, and with the smoke down, it was easy to just straight up play around it. I'm curious, was that a T-smoke, I think, initially to give them the cover from the CT spawn? Seems to have backfired, unfortunately. JNT wanting to take that fight on his own. His teammate only now arriving, and the molly sends him out into the open where Stevos is not going to struggle to land the upshot, leaving it all on Reelson, and well, he decides to try and take the fight through the molly. That was an interesting one, hoping that he'd be able to catch obviously one of the players to drop it into a one-on-one while they're not expecting a peek considering the molly's down, but yeah, it backfires just a little bit. 12-11, winning the difference once again.
I can understand why he did that, because obviously, as you say, there's a chance he catches one player because he's expecting the plant to come in from the second player as well. Like, there's no reason to delay the plant in that situation. So while one player has to hold, he's hoping that he's perhaps looking towards CT for a cover, but not to be. And in the end, they had to. Of course, Pank did insane work to get 2 from the underback position. I'm not sure how he managed that. But again, I mean, the economy's stretched if you're at Club Brugge. Only winning with a couple of players alive means that only one Deagle available. It's going to try and get a spam in, but the counter flash is really good. Surely JNT gets a couple. Good damage to the second, but the Molotov's going to burn him down, and Pank is still here to help out. Zevi is toward triple as well. He's going to get mollied off that position, going for a pick anyway. Should be able to fall back. Pank will get found nice and safely as well by Richie on that wide angle, but Zevi's going in for more, playing around these site smokes, the bench smokes as well, doing so much damage and so much work, causing Club Brugge a big problem right now. Flash will help to try and send Richie in, but Luca hits a nice tap, and Zevi will finish off the last as well. Really, really nice hold from Shark. Zevi with 2 is particularly impressive from that position, and it does put them up to 13 and 11. And as I mentioned, the economy is again not too good for the T side.
Yeah, I've got to say overall though, I've been impressed by what Brugge have been able to deliver. They've been making things competitive throughout when Sharks themselves seem to be in really good form as well. So I've been a little bit surprised. As we said, the way the veto went down with Sharks happily playing towards maps that Brugge are decent on, because they're also really strong maps for Sharks. They just kind of were like, yeah, we're not going to bother playing to your weaknesses. We'll play to our own strengths. So it did at least give Brugge this opportunity to have decent maps for themselves. But yeah, I think Sharks may have made the right call, as we can see with them starting to edge closer to victory. Definitely hasn't been easy by any means, though. Naden, does that do much damage? Not a ton. It actually does tag up Notice to 48 in the end, but the Deagles actually return a couple of headshots. Some peaks coming in at the moment that aren't too necessary for Sharks, that could give away some weapons, but lead to their economy maybe faltering a small bit. But no, Luca jumping up, bit of a risky one, but he makes it work, and now it's only Notice left standing. He doesn't have the bomb either. I don't think Luca turned. Did he spot it? Surely he did. So. It would have popped up on the radar at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he saw it. Yeah, that has to be the case. And again, as you say, a little bit scary, but Luca quite literally going incredibly aggressive there towards short. That was a surprising move, as you say. They'd already been punished by the Deagles a couple of times, but he wanted to try and relax the situation, and he's been the top fragger for this team in general lately, to be fair. He was insane yesterday, despite losing to LDLC, and he's been really, really consistent so far today. Club Brugge, kind of an expected result from them to lose to Mad Lions in that first opening match. And right now, to be fair, they weren't the favourites for this one either, at least in my opinion. So it's probably an expected result if they do go on to lose this one, but they can at least be happy that they've shown some decent results against other EU teams. Sharks should be proud of themselves, though, if they can finish this one off. Nice duel from Matty. Will at least take Luca down. And Notice actually spots Pank on top of that smoke as well. That's a good find, considering it looked like Pank had the drop on him. Matty's down to 24, and Notice is down to 22, which means the grenade is going to do a lot of work. That was almost a double with that grenade. In the end, it's Notice to eat it. 12 and 23 for him. He's had a rough one. Overall, eating grenades doesn't help. Wilson's pushed aggressively toward the B stairs, though. Will he turn around in time? It's going to be an awful timing for him if he does peek at the right time, but he just about manages it. Gets himself 2 as well. Looking for a third. Good trade from Richie. And yeah, thankfully his timing was good. Now it's all down to Richie. And Zevi finds him easily. Yeah, 15 on the board for Sharks. Easy as pie in the end. And now we get to see if Club Brugge can put it to another overtime.
Yeah, I was going to say Richie's the man you want as well, up on 25 kills right now. He had a pretty good map back on Vertigo also, but it's just too much to ask of him in the clutch. Unfortunately, 4 rounds in a row for an overtime. Can we get some flashbacks to how things went down on Vertigo, where they were able to obviously pull up back to the OT? They need to change how it went afterwards, because it didn't go too well for them, but it's still doable. I wouldn't count them out completely. It's not a terrible buy here either. Only the Mach 10 really being a massive weakness. They could do it a ton more nades, but they'll have to make do. They'll have to see if they can start to salvage anything at all. Zevi going to be holding for the ramp peek in. He gets baited initially by the shoulder, but the second follow-up shot is going to be on point, as will the shot onto Matty, who was a bit late on his attempt at the trade, I'm not going to lie. So that was a kind of disjointed push, if I'm being honest, and with that, it seems to be just a relatively easy cleanup. Sharks are only a single kill away from victory here, as Stevos attempts to take that peek in onto B and gets finished off by Reels, and it's 16-11. They managed to take themselves a bit of an easier finish here, considering at one point the E-Club had the lead 11-10, I believe it was.